So the first thing I want to talk about in relation to training your horse is going right back to the beginning. And when we start to work with a horse off the track, the first thing we need to be able to do is get their attention. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're working with a horse or any audience, we have to have their attention if we want to be able to get the best out of them, to be able to get the communication across. A lot of the time you see people working with horses and they still don't have the horse's attention, and it's off with the pixies, and it's looking here and it's looking there, and the head's all over the place, and they've got no focus whatsoever. If you haven't got that focus, you can't possibly think that the horse is going to be able to take on board the things that you want to teach it. So what I want to do today is to give you a very short technique to be able to get the horse focused on you, whether it's at home when you're just beginning the training process, or whether you go out to a competition, or you're moving to a new location. Every time you take the horse off the float, it's a little bit stargazy, a little bit upset about the environment. And I want to give you something that's going to be able to get you to bring that horse back and get him focused on you. And if we focus on that all the time, then we'll find that every time we put it into practice, the horse will come back to us and we can start to work with whatever it is that we want to do. So the way that I'm going to go about it today is with a rope halter attached to the horse. I'm going to ask the horse to face me all the time. Now, I want this horse to concentrate on me. I want him to understand that no matter what's going on around him, I have to be part of the focus. They can concentrate on a lot of things at the same time, but the most important thing once we start to work has got to be me as the handler. He has to respect me as a leader. Horses are looking for leadership. I'm going to take on that leadership role. So as the horse faces away from me, I'm going to jerk the halter and make him come back and face me at every opportunity. Now, he'll look off into the distance, I'll pull him back and face me, I'll move around. As I move around, I don't want to lead the horse around, I want to give him the opportunity, if he wants to do the wrong thing, and then show him what is the correct thing. And the correct thing will be to face me. And every time he faces me, I'm going to allow him to relax and just be, rather than be focused on everything that's flapping around or moving around him. And it can be quite a big environment, but it doesn't matter what the environment is, the focus has to come back onto the handler at all times. You might see it as a problem, I see it as an opportunity. So it doesn't matter where you are or when you are, we have to get this horse all the time to be focused on us. Without that, there's no education that can take place.
Godolphin and their Darley studs breed a huge amount of racehorses around the world. Some are destined for racetrack stardom and a place at stud, and others, such as geldings or those who never race, still need a home for life. In the first part of our Godolphin Lifetime Care features, we look at their fabulous foal handling, setting these horses up to excel at any activity right through their lives.
We made a new life, new life, new life, and I'ma do right by you. We made a new life, new life, new life, and I'ma do right by you.
John, here at Godolphin Woodlands, this is where the foals take their first breath, they see the world for the first time. It's a really important part of a thoroughbred's early formation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Caroline. Like we've got a very long-term view about, we take a very long-term view about what's happening with the foals. They're born here. Ultimately, we're trying to prepare them for a life in racing, but we're also got a longer-term view that after racing, and even the horses that don't make it on the racetrack, the long-term view is that they will have a second career in dressage or show jumping or even showing. And there's also, there's an area of, they're a great companion. So they're doing a lot of work for people from a psychological point of view. They're a great companion and they can be sort of great company.
We'll have a story going forwards about their pre-training and breaking in and so forth. But, you do see so many of the people that are working here have a real love of the horse. You're not putting out, machines. You're putting out fabulous athletes that hopefully will win on the track. But as you said, it is a whole of life sort of outlook.
Well, it is. It's a full circle of life. We're very fortunate within the Godolphin organisation. We breed to race and then sort of race to breed. So essentially, we breed the horses here and we hope that all of them will go on to the race course. So, it's like part of your family. You lose them for a little while, and then this time of year during the breeding season, we've just had a heap of race fillies retire, come off the track, and they've come back onto the farms again. So the people haven't seen them for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's a whole cycle of life. So they do become part of your family, and the people who work with them are so passionate about it. And you have to be, because you're working with them day in, day out. and then you lose them for a little while, and that's, you know, some people that's always sort of hard sometimes. But then they come back again, and then they have babies, and you know, a lot of people that are working here may have worked with their mothers in training, and then they've seen them now retire, then have babies the next year, and then work with their babies. So it's a lifestyle, and it's an ongoing sort of lifetime commitment.
So then what's the next stage with this little fellow? Because he's getting a bit cheeky, you know, he knows he's the firstborn, as we said, so he doesn't have anyone else to play rough and tumble with. But what do you do now with him as far as your handling?
We'll do a proper session when we'll put a head collar on him and get him used to putting a head collar on, and we'll sort of rub him all over so he's used to being touched by humans, and pick the feet up, so when we're doing farrier work it's easier, and it just makes the whole process easier for them. Less stressful for them, less stressful for people. So you want to sort of them to learn as much as you can in that period of time. So short little stints, but more frequent.
And then of course the weaning process, where they're taken away from their mothers. There's an incredible routine about that as well, isn't there, to keep them calm and safe?
Look, it's a tricky time. Again, I keep relating it back to human sort of terminology, but it's like leaving home for the first time. And that can be quite stressful, even for the cheeky ones. You know, the independent ones, sometimes they're the worst. So it's important that they're living in a group together with their mates, and they play with them, and we've got some of the old retired mares that they come in, and they become the nannies. They become the sort of, they're teaching the kids how to act, to come up for a feed, how to behave, and they'll sort of discipline them if they need it, and they'll comfort them if they need it. So I suppose they are like nannies, and they're great.
I was really intrigued watching the way that you get them to come in, so they're easy to be handled. As they're getting bigger, these weanlings, they're almost yearlings when we were filming them. So tell me about the process of actually bringing them in. They've got a separate yard, and that's great handling for them and a great education.
It's important that they remain as horses, but also when we need to do something with them, that they respect that. So they come in every day. They come in and they get fed in the morning, they get fed in the afternoon, and they're quite relaxed about that because they've been in there before, they've got food in there. So, and then if we've got a farrier coming, we can just do the farrier work, and they're already in the pen. And if we've got a parade coming up, or if we need to do any work with them, they're already in there, and they're in a relaxed environment that they're comfortable with. And then we let them back out, and they go out and they play like and become horses again. You can actually individualise your feed and individualise what each horse needs. So yeah, there might be one horse needs a little extra pat just to keep them sort of mind on the job, and then some just need to have that bit of independence as well. So you can tailor make it independent for each individual horse. So that's the beauty of it. It
really is a great thing for humans, this lifestyle, isn't it? To be raising these beautifully educated young horses. There's a lot going for it.
Yeah, no, look, it is a lifestyle. I mean, and you don't come into it unless you enjoy this lifestyle. And you've got a job, and we've all got a job to educate the horses, and it's not just a career in the racetrack, it's after that as well. But it's so important that they're well mannered and well behaved, and that takes professional staff, and we teach the staff as well, all the younger generation coming through. So important that we provide a safe workplace for them, and also give them an education. So it is like going to university. They get the best of both worlds. You know, they're working with their passion and working with horses, but they're also getting a qualification and getting paid. It's great for younger people to experience that, and people that at a later time in their life want to come back into it again.
And I see a lot of equestrian people that, you know, where they show jump or do dressage or show their own horses, but they work as work riders or as breakers or pre-trainers. Are we bridging a bit of that divide between the equestrian world and the racing industry?
We definitely are, and I think, look, the thoroughbred industry, and rightly, and so we should be, is opening that up and making sure we're working in that space, because they're completely interlinked. A great dressage rider is a great horse person, and that's what we need. And a lot of those dressage riders and one-day event, 3-day eventers, they are now people that break horses in. Some of them can actually go do track work in the morning, work in an office through the day, and then on the weekends go and do the 3-day event. It's all interlinked, and a lot of the time, hopefully, they're doing it with a thoroughbred horse that's come off the track.
But who wouldn't want to live somewhere like this, helping educate the next generation of, you know, racehorses and equine athletes? It's just a beautiful lifestyle, and you can live on farm.
Yeah, no, I'm very fortunate, like extremely fortunate that we can live here. We've got a great lifestyle. We work with beautiful animals every day, and you know, we can raise our kids and raise our families here as well. So, you know, it's a fantastic industry to be involved in.
A great operation, Godolphin, setting those foals up for a wonderful life. And in coming weeks, we'll be hearing from Australian Stud and Stable Staff Award winner Scott Eales about the Godolphin program in breaking in and pre-training their thoroughbreds. After the break, though, it's Arrowfield Studs Strappers Stories.